you all's patience. I appreciate you all for coming out at this cold time of the year, and appreciate whatever part that you may be playing in Soulshed University for 2021. So clap it up, hey. So we run a little bit behind schedule, so we're going to get into a presentation. We're going to talk about the program for this upcoming year, all the things that'll be, all the different components that'll be a part of it, to let you all know what's going to be going on with it, and then we're going to bring up our featured guests for the evening. All right, so I'm going to read our history here. I got some notes here because I did not want to get up here and be stumbling over my words. So I got some notes. All right, so SoulShed was established in March of 2018 and began as a bi-weekly jam session for musicians to fellowship and have access to an environment that allowed them the freedom to push their musical ideas beyond their limits and to grow among one another. After numerous conversations with musicians about their desires for the music community in St. Louis, as well as their personal goals, I decided that we should create something to help them along the way, i.e. Soulshed University. Soulshed University is an artist development program to place the tools in the hands of musicians to create the change they'd like to see within their own individual careers and the music community at large. The program will be unique in that it would enlist professionals active within the St. Louis arts community to teach them in their particular field of expertise and empower their contemporaries with information and techniques to become more knowledgeable and well-rounded as a complete musician. So we're going to bring up Jizu to the program description.
What up, y'all? I'm Jizu. So, program description. So there's 4 areas of the program, being music education, music business, music performance, and wellness. It's our belief that if one is rooted in and have a working knowledge of each of these areas, then they're destined for success. So the classes are unique, and each instructor will be crafting lectures grounded in the core components of each field, yet also how they have navigated and found success in their particular area of study. So I see a lot of teachers up here right now, so you know that's what it's about. That's the program, y'all. Yeah.
I also got notes. So I'm just going to talk briefly over the instructors that we have and the type of classes that we're going to be offering this year. So our first class is going to be Antonio Foster. He's going to be teaching music notation. Our second class is Kevin Kohler. I don't want to mess that up. He's going to be teaching a class on how to sound check. We have Jasmine Osby, and she's going to be teaching a class on how to create an EPK. Damaris is going to be teaching a class on eating for the body and soul. We have Tim Madman Moore. He's going to be teaching a class on rhythm. We have Teresa Payne. She's going to be teaching a class on developing your stage presence. Julian Keaton. He's going to be teaching a class on streaming. And Lola Fit is going to be doing a class on physical fitness. Carlos Scooter Brown, where did he go? He's going to be teaching a class on melody. That's our DJ, if y'all didn't know. Then we have Jamarco Britton. He's going to be teaching a class on how to overcome performance anxiety. I need that class. And then we have our second to last class is going to be taught by Alonzo Townsend. He's going to be doing an artist management class. And then our last class is Dr. Brittany Connors on mental health transitions.
Hey everybody. So I'm here to talk about the internships. Soulshed University students will intern with music professionals to increase their experience in the areas of music performance, music business, and music education. During the third quarter of the year, students will embark on a 3-month internship with professionals to assist with their day-to-day tasks, get hands-on experience within their areas of expertise, and shadow them to begin to understand how they can implement what they learn into their own skill set/careers. At the completion of the 3 months, students will end their internship and continue the Soulshed University program as normal. If the professionals would like to continue working with the students, that will be determined by the student and the professional directly. Also, we will continue to acquire more internships throughout the year.
And I just want to say the current internships that we have locked in. So we have an internship with Julian Jules that's going to be led by Julian Keaton here, who's going to be one of our teachers for this year. So it's going to be more business focused and management focused. And then we have an internship with Mastermind and Company that's going to be shadowing a professional artist here within the city and also shadowing him as a producer and an engineer. So, we want to take some time to introduce the people that we have on staff here at Soulshed. And so, first, my name is Jamarco Britton. I am the founder of soulshedstl. And so, I want to have everybody come on and introduce themselves so that everybody knows the moving parts of this company.
Hey everybody, I'm Matthew Jameson. I am a music director and advisor for Soulshed University.
What up, y'all? I'm Hello Jizu. I'm a music producer, music performer, artist, creative director, and just anything that I find the spirit to do. Yeah. And I'm also the head graphic designer here at Soulshed, and I do a lot of flyers, logos, and other kind of stuff we post online and stuff. So.
Hey y'all, I'm Dreya. I'm owner and photographer of Captivating Momentz by Dreya, and I'm the photographer, videographer, and advisor for Soulshed.
All right, and so before we go any further, I just want to give some thanks to the members of soulshedstl. I guess I haven't really had a time to like really publicly express how much I really appreciate you all. I know we have daily conversations about it, but I really appreciate you all. And if anything this year has taught me, it's been that you cannot do anything alone. And y'all have really stood by me while we've been trying to get this thing up off the ground over these. It's only been 2 years, but I feel like we've really been pushing it, doing a lot of things to really progress. And it's changed from just my vision, but to our vision. And so I really appreciate you all, the work that you do, the time and effort that you all put in. And I'm happy to see where we all want to be going, with this company and individually, because you all are super talented in everything that you all do. And so I just appreciate you all bringing yourselves aboard. So just thank you. With that, welcome to Soulshed University. All right, man. So now the moment we've all been waiting for. So I'm going to introduce our featured guest speaker for this evening. So when we was putting this together and talking about it, I'm like, we need to have somebody speak. I feel like there's like important to orientation. You know, you usually go to school and then they have somebody come speak and pump everybody up for the year. Unfortunately, our students couldn't be here today because of various reasons, but we got it recorded, but hopefully we can get them some motivational words before we get into the year. So I'm going to introduce our speaker. He is currently the president and CEO of Jazz St. Louis. He has been part of the music community here for over 20 years. He's a teacher, a leader, and just a high advocate for community arts here. And he's also the lead man of the Dobbs Bradford Blues Experience. So he definitely has experience on and off the field of being a musician. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dobbs Bradford.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much, DeMarco. Thanks for having me here. I thought that one thing I would do today is tell you a little bit about my experience and how I came to be where I am today. And hopefully that can give you guys out there a little bit of insight into what some of the possibilities are out there. Because when I was in high school, that's when I first realized that I wanted to make music my career. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that music had to be a part of my life. I knew that music had to be the thing that I would devote my life and my energies to. But I think that when I was in high school, I thought that there were like two things you could do as an artist, right? You can either perform or what? You can teach, right? And so that was sort of it. You know how when you're really little, there are only three jobs, right? Doctor, fireman, and policeman, right? So, because you don't know any better, right? But as you get older, you start to find out that there are really, all these other careers out there. So I knew that making music was my career, and I figured I'd like to perform. And so that must be it, right? So I was a bass player at the time, and I always say, Carlos is probably tired of hearing this because he hears this all the time, but I'm not a bass player so much as I'm just a bass owner now. But I still have the opportunity to perform, and that's very important to me. But I think I found out actually a long time ago that if I had to perform for a living, I don't think I would be really happy doing it. Because there are those times when you have to get out there and you have to put, anytime you get on stage, you have to give 110%. And sometimes you just don't feel like it. I don't think that you become a professional performing artist because you want to do it. I think you do it because it's the only thing that's going to make you happy, right? Because there's too much stuff you have to deal with in order to get to that point. But I will say this, that no matter what job you take, you're gonna have to put up with a lot of stuff that you don't wanna do, right? And I say this because if it was fun all the time, then you would probably be paying them to do the job, right? But it's not that way. It's a job, and you're gonna have to solve a lot of problems. You're gonna have to deal with a lot of adversity. But as I was going through college, I had these great experiences. And the first one was when I came back home after my freshman year at Eastman School of Music, where, as I said, I was playing bass. And everybody says, hey, when do we get to hear you play, right? When do we get to hear you play? Because I was one of several students who went off to music schools around the country, and everybody wants to hear us. But there wasn't an opportunity to do that. So I said, well, look, all we need is a space. We need a tuned piano, and we can do it. So I arranged with my old high school that we would use a small room. We would use the choir room, basically. We set up, me and my friends, we set up chairs in there, and everybody came out and they did like one movement of whatever they'd been working on. And that was really fun, and it was really well received. And then we started doing it, we did that the next year. And then I had this other great experience where I was with a professional music fraternity, Phi Mu Alpha, and we put on a concert of American music because we wanted to see more American music being promoted. So we put on a show of our own. Then I said, you know something, you can actually use concerts to do more than just entertain. You can actually use it for social causes. And we did a canned food drive for one of the concerts. It wasn't very successful, but I learned a lot about what it takes to put that on. And then I decided that I wanted to have a band, and because I was an underclassman, and all the jazz majors were grad students, you couldn't major in jazz as an undergrad at Eastman. So there were a lot of really good bass players who were much more experienced than I, and they got all the gigs, right? So I wanted a gig, so I started playing harmonica and singing, and I put together a little blues band with these great jazz musicians backing me up, which is, you know, a formula that I still use to this day to make me sound better, because if you have a really kicking band behind you, you know, then all you have to do is just sort of get in there, hit it well quickly, and then get out of the way and let them, you know, sort of cover for you. So I did that, and then, you know, the first gig we did, I remember going and negotiating with the manager of this bar and grill that we used to go to. And it was called Richmond's, and basically I made this deal with him that we would get paid in beer and chicken wings, which was fine with me because that's all we were going to spend our money on anyway, right? So we might as well just cut out the middleman. And so the first gig we did, we had like 10 people there. By the time we did our last gig, the place was jam-packed, right? Because I've been out there, I learned about, you know, putting up our flyers, letting people know in advance, going out and hyping up the show, you know, talking to people, word of mouth, right? All that stuff. And I started to realize that I was enjoying putting on these performances, creating these events, more than actually performing them. I mean, performing them was really fun, but the fact is I sat there and I thought, you know, this wouldn't have happened at all if it hadn't been for the work that we put, if it hadn't been for somebody having a vision to say, hey, let's do this, right? And that's when I learned that there are all these opportunities in the music industry that are just what you see on the stage. And they're things that are very rewarding. Because I was a bass player, as I said, but I was good. I was a good bass player. I'm not gonna lie, right? But I wasn't gonna be like in Herbie Hancock's band good, you know? But because of my position, I'm able to bring Herbie Hancock to St. Louis and have him perform for thousands of people and sit down and talk to him afterwards and also get to enjoy his concert with everybody else and have people grateful that I was responsible for them having this great evening. So even though I'm not on stage with him, I'm still working with him. I worked with Terence Blanchard on 2 operas that he did with Opera Theater. I wasn't the only person working with him on it, but I was a part of this event that now is leading to the fact that the very first opera ever performed by an African-American composer, which will take place hopefully this fall, I had a part in that. I had a part in making that happen. If I hadn't been there, it wouldn't have happened. Right, this event, I'm not saying that there never would have been an African American on stage, but now it's happening, and I share in that, along with a lot of other people. But you need people like me, you need people like all these other folks who you don't even know exist in order to make this what we call an ecosystem function, right? And you don't even know the opportunities that are out there right now. Not just opportunities to put on shows, but opportunities to run organizations that do more than just perform. Like at Jazz St. Louis, we have this great educational program where we're teaching students how to be better jazz musicians. And some of these kids are getting scholarships from great universities, and they're saying it's because of the work that we're doing. That's so rewarding, right? And I'm not the teacher. But I create a situation where students are able to get this education because I help raise the money, I help get the people who know how to teach in the right spot, give them the resources that they need, and let them do their thing. Make sure that we get this, so there are all these opportunities out there for things like that. There are, whenever you hear music, I mean, you know, if you're a musician, you're thinking about music all the time. You're hearing it all the time. And, you know, coming right off of Christmas You know, you sort of remember, like, as you're going through, you hear all the Christmas songs everywhere, right? Well, a lot of decisions have to be made in order for that music to come out of those speakers. There are people who make sure that the artists who wrote the music are getting paid for it. There are people who are saying, well, which songs we're gonna play. There are people who are saying, how are we gonna get these songs from here into the grocery store, right? There are grocery stores that are saying, hey, what kind of music is gonna be best for us to have in our grocery store? All these decisions made, and all these are opportunities. All these are jobs. All these are real jobs that pay good money. And if you look beyond the simple thing, the simple idea of I can either perform or I can teach, you find this great world out there of opportunities for things that you never even dreamed of, jobs you didn't even know existed. And they're all there, and they're jobs that you can do. But you have to make sure that whatever direction you want to go in, that you're ready for it. And the way that you do that is with like the basics, okay? Math. You're gonna have to have any business, even if you're gonna be a performing musician, and performing musicians know this better than anybody else. You gotta know how to budget. You gotta know how to keep track of the money, right? You don't have to be an accountant, but you gotta be able to figure out if you know, how many CDs did you just sell? What percentage are you getting? How much money does that mean in real life, right? You have to know your math. You have to know how to express yourself well. So you gotta make sure that you have those English skills. You gotta read. All the great artists, right? All the people who you really admire as artists, you know, they read all the time. They love talking about what they've read because they need nutrition, right? They need that artistic nutrition. And that's where they get it. That's where a lot of people get it. They're students of the world. And that's what you wanna be if you're going to be an artist. You have to look outside of just the music world. I think that's something that it's easy to fall into. It's easy to get siloed and just say, this is my thing, and I'm not gonna worry about what's going on outside. But once again, the folks who are making the most interesting art now are the ones who are really paying attention to what's going on in the world right now. So you have to know those things. But of course, if you're gonna be involved in music, you gotta know about the music. You gotta be hungry for it. You have to be a student. You have to be a detective, right? When you hear something that you like, why do you like it? What is it what made it different than things that you've heard before? Or what made it the same, right? What made it the same as something that you've heard before? Dig in. Know about music theory, right? Even now, I go back and I try to study ear training, right? Just to make sure that I'm keeping my ear up, because once you can really hear your chord progressions, hear how melodies work, that's when you really start being able to enjoy music to its fullest. And then it's like once the blinders are off, it's like you can see things. It's like you're going from black and white to color, right? Color TV. So now all of a sudden you've been walking through, and most people are just sort of looking at or listening to music, and they love it, but it's black and white to them, but you're gonna be seeing it in 4D, high def, ultra color, right? It's totally saturated. And that's the beauty of it, because you have to be the one to explain to people, not only through what you say when you're talking about it, but what music you create, or what music you help be created. Because even if you're not the one doing it, you may be a producer who's going to try to figure out, how do you get somebody to be their best selves? How do you draw something out of them? So I think it's really very important, the work that you're doing here with Soulshed University. I hope that you all take advantage of this. You have some wonderful teachers and a great opportunity. But as you go through and you listen to these classes, just find out as much as you can from them about what sort of opportunities are out there, even if it's not something you want to pursue, just so that you know, how does the world work? How does this ecosystem all fit together? And those are the types of things that you can get if you invest in it, if you take the time to really be present in these classes, listen and learn, and take that to the next level yourself. And I hope you'll do so, because here we are in 2021, a new year, a new opportunity, and I hope you all take the best advantage of that. Thank you all very much.
It's above my head. All right, one more round of applause, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, I ain't got no more formal stuff for y'all. Scoot about to play some tunes. If y'all haven't had enough of the Chick-fil-A, please eat it.